everybody, it's me, Dr. Fuck from Thrash or Die, and in this review, I have a special guest with me. My friend of 27 years, Holy George. This is about the first album that Ronnie James Dio has done after he left Black Sabbath. It's a band. He didn't want to call it a solo album. It was a fucking masterpiece, if you ask me. The best thing he's done after he left Black Sabbath, in my opinion. Holy Diver! Holy Diver, the first 1983, first solo, not solo, but the first album that Dio released after Black Sabbath. It's a great fucking album. It features Jimmy Bain, who played with him in the monumental greatest Rainbow album, in my opinion, Rainbow Rising. He brought him from, I don't know, from total obscurity. I don't think Jimmy Bain did anything after that. And he probably did, and somebody's gonna correct me and whatever. Here, pick a finger. Here, I picked one for you. He brought in Vinny Appice from Black Sabbath, and a new axe slinger called Vivian Campbell, who was in a new wave of British heavy metal band called Sweet Savage. If you type in on YouTube, Sweet Savage Eye of the Storm, you will be amazed how much James Hetfield from Metallica ripped off that singer. You'll think it's James singing that song. It sounds too much like him. Am I correct?
No, absolutely.
What is your thoughts? I'm a little parched here.
Well, on the Metallica thing, it's never been a secret that those guys...
Fuck Metallica. Let's talk about this. What do you think of this?
About Dio, devil, backwards.
It's, yeah.
Oh, it's not upside down, I mean, you know.
The logo of Dio, if you flip it upside down, it spells devil. You have to look at it really good, but it's devils in there. What are your thoughts on this album?
All right. For a man who is the entity of metal,
Man of the Silver Mountain.
He knew that he had a reputation to uphold. Breaking free of the chains from Black Sabbath and
Rainbow.
Exactly, but he knew that he already had a following. His vocals legendary beyond belief. There will be no one ever who will sound like that man. Ever, and fucking ever.
So true. Nobody sounded like Dio. Nobody. A lot of people say Tony Martin. No. Tony Martin's amazing, but he didn't sound like Dio. Not to these heavy metal ears.
Early 80s, he assumed the personality of the leather and studs kind of a thing, taking it in a more, if you would, medieval kind of a thing. He was always very enchanted by that mythology. And he comes up with this concept, even though the artwork you could debate whether it was the devil, you know, getting rid of the priest, or the priest being fish bait for the fishies. Either way.
And as Dio said, how do you know it's the devil messing up the priest and it's not the priest messing with the devil? I never understood that concept, but you know what? You can look at it this way. It's the devil getting rid of a priest that molested a bunch of little boys. I think I did all the groundwork and so did you, so let's go into the songs. Stand Up and Shout. The first time I heard this fucking album, my friend had the vinyl. I didn't even know Dio was working on an album, and he had it at his house. I was like, holy shit, put that on. And when he put on Stand Up and Shout, game over. That song is just the shit. And it's like, one thing I loved about Dio is the way he would paint pictures with words, and he'd have these lines that were so cool. My favorite line in Stand Up and Shout, it says, it's like broken glass. You get cut before you see it, so open up your eyes. And then he says, stand up and shout. What do they have to do with each other? That was the beauty of Dio. He made you make up your own mind what it meant. Stand Up and Shout is a fucking traditional heavy metal riff with the fucking pounding drum, 100 miles an hour in your face saying, hey, we're here and we're gonna fucking kick your ass. If you think this song kicks ass, just listen to the rest. What are your thoughts on
Stand Up and Shout? Great opener for the album itself. Once again, he delivers the goods. I'm adding a cliche of sorts right there where he does. He's telling you that he's back, mounting on the wings of the dragon to conquer the world. His attitude completely dominates. He permeates the thing as a whole. It's like an envelope, and he's just taking you in.
That's right, he is.
He is. Look out!
That's right, look out! Look out for track 2! Holy Diver, the title track, and as you can see they made a video for it. Very medieval video. I think it's a cool video. The only thing I hate about this video is that there's no Vinny, Jimmy, or Vivian in it. It's only Ronnie walking around with a sword, fucking people up, and it makes absolutely no sense. But fuck the video. The video is not one of my favorites. It's still cool that they have a video for it, but I would have preferred to see the band in it somehow or another.
The melodies in Holy Diver were brought up forth by him. I mean, most people don't think, well, you know, maybe the guitar player said, no, Ronnie James Dio, this is writing something. He came up with stuff. The other guys, yeah, you know, Vivian Campbell, magnificent guitar player, you know, the time and everything else. I don't know about nowadays. He probably got very soft.
Oh, if we have time, I want to talk about that asshole at the end of this.
Oh,
if we have time.
He got dirt on him.
Actually, if you look on this channel, there's already a video of me bitching about him.
Oh, okay. But now, you gotta think. I don't think he was in a warpath to do Black Sabbath. Okay? You gotta think that nothing that he does here resembles, musically speaking, Black Sabbath material. Okay,
well, no, I disagree. There is one song on here that's very Black Sabbath. I'll talk about that later.
Okay, well, I agree to disagree.
And actually, this one too kind of has like a Black Sabbath-y type vibe to it. This and Shame on the Night, I would say, very. I mean, Black Sabbath, his version, his incarnation, because I feel the Ozzy years and the Dio years is like.
No, it's day and night.
Yeah, they don't sound like the same band, but Holy Diver to me has that kind of Sabbath-y vibe to it, the pondering dun 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 dun, you know. Like, hey, you get that riff, dun 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 dun, then get the riff of Heaven and Hell from the bass. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it has that kind of like
similarities.
Yeah, there's similarities.
I think he's attempting to convert.
Yeah, you know, he's moving on, but you know, there is a little Sabbath-y still. I have a feeling if he would have stayed in Black Sabbath, the next album would have been called Holy Diver. I don't think it would have these songs on it, but I'm sure it would have a song like Holy Diver on it. And probably the same lyrics and stuff. Well, great fucking song. Right?
I disagree with you on the whole thing that if you would have stayed in Sabbath, that, you know, such a product like this would have happened.
No, Tony Iommi's the king of the riffs, and he would have made his own riff that wouldn't have sounded like this.
No, it would have been never, because he didn't write the music. I mean, Tony Iommi writes most of the music with, you know, Geezer and everything else. I don't know if Ronnie James Dio's input, hey, actually, you should come up with this riff. It's like, fuck you.
No, he didn't do that, but Ronnie did have some say in musical structures. Not riffs, but you know how the song should go. He did do that in Rainbow and in Black Sabbath. Oh, anyway, enough of Holy Diver. Great song, awesome title track, shitty video, my opinion. What do you think of the video? You like it?
It is amusing. Again, if you're looking at it back in 1983, best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. I admit. Yeah, when I first saw the video, I was like, fuck it. You could have had him in a tutu, I still would have loved it.
Yeah.
So, next track. Gypsy, to me, the most cranking Vivian Campbell solo. He's going apeshit on this song. This is a great fucking song too. My favorite line is, I don't even know what he says, but I like how he ends it when he goes, ah! I just love that part. It's like my favorite part of the song when he goes, ah! And the guitar solo. Smoking Song, is it my favorite off the album? Maybe. I think so. Maybe not. It's a hard one, but so far, it is my favorite. I love Gypsy. Great heavy metal track, traditional metal to the core. Awesome shit. What do you think, George?
I think in terms of traditional, you think in terms of he wrote the rules for traditional stuff like that. When you talk about, well, you know, traditional, who came up with that? He was one of the originators of what you term
One thing that I forgot to overlook on Holy Diver, the song, is where he says, "Look out!" Which was, I love when he does that, because he did that a lot on Children of the Sea. At the end of Children of the Sea, he said, "Look out." He brought it back on Holy Diver, but we're talking about Gypsy now. Holy, you love the song or you don't? What do you think?
I'm partial. It's one of the songs that I would fast forward the cassette on.
Okay, he's so wrong. Let's go to the next track. Caught in the Middle.
Great song.
This is an amazing song, but this is the one I told you would be like my least favorite, which I still love, which shows how great this album is. The thing that I like the most about Caught in the Middle is what I like about most Dio songs, most Rainbow songs, and most Sabbath songs that he was in. The thing I love the most about Caught in the Middle is his voice, his delivery, the way he sings it. To me, it's just magic. It's a magical song, an amazing song, a kick-ass song, and my least favorite song on the album, but I would still give it like a 9.5. That's how good this fucking album is. What do you think of Caught in the Middle?
Caught in the Middle, it didn't have the power of Stand Up and Shout. It didn't have the power of Holy Diver. It was, as we turned before, maybe a filler kind of a song. You know, it was kind of like, you know, a little bit of a going down the hill and slowing, you know, getting to the plateau and slowing down before undertaking next chapter of this album being Don't Talk to Strangers.
Yes, okay, before we get into Talk to Strangers, the last thing I want to say about Caught in the Middle is that I hate saying this, and I don't mean to say this as a bad thing, but I feel like Caught in the Middle does not flow with the rest of the album. It's very different than all the other songs. It's still an amazing song, but it just doesn't flow the sound, but it still doesn't derail the album. When people talk about Ronnie James Dio and Holy Diver, very rarely you see anybody talk about Caught in the Middle. But I think it's an amazing track, just not my favorite off it, you know? Let's go to the next track. Don't Talk to Strangers. Okay, this is my favorite song on the album. Okay, it's not Gypsy. I'm sorry. Don't Talk to Strangers is much better, and it is my favorite, probably my favorite Dio song. Period, from the Dio band. Don't Talk to Strangers. He's carrying on the same subject matter of Lady Evil, Lady of the Lake, Country Girl. Like, you know, he wrote a lot of songs about women that, you know, hey, be careful with them. Because,
absolutely, that's
you know, he was always like, you know, they'll fuck you over, man. You know? Yeah, hey, don't dream of women, because they'll only bring you down. That's what he says. So,
then he met Wendy, and that was the end of that shit.
No, actually, he met Wendy back in the Rainbow days, and you know who introduced Wendy to Ronnie James Dio? Richie Blackmore at the Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Oh, wow.
When he was in Rainbow. That's how he met Wendy Dio. Wendy Dio has managed him all the way up to his death. And it's a great fucking song. I love, my favorite song off the album, Don't Talk to Strangers. What do you think, George?
Excellent ballad. Excellent ballad. Right
Ballad?
there.
It's not a ballad.
It is a power ballad.
It's fucking heavy as fuck. It just starts mellow.
I still think of it as a ballad.
Rainbow Eye is a ballad.
Well, that too. How it maintains that quality of the mystical part still. You know, it's, even though, as you put it, you know, it's about heartbreak and just being careful what steps you're, you know, taking. But regardless, I mean, fantastic song, and I'm so glad that during that Dio tribute thing about almost 15 years ago, the Dora Pesh from Warlock, she did that song.
Oh, did she?
She did. It was beautiful.
She also did Chains Are On, and it's really good. The Chains Are On version is really fucking good. But yeah, you know, another thing. I mean, a lot of Dio songs is like you interpret it into your own thing. I interpret "Don't Talk to Strangers" as being fucking just fucked over by a chick, because it's like, you know, I'm danger, and you know, it's just gut wrenching. Like the lyrics is kind of like you going through fucking pain over a chick. That's how I interpret it, but other people may interpret it into other things. That's my, but again, it doesn't spell it out. Hey, look, like Kiss I Still Love You, that song tells you straight out the bat, hey, this chick fucked me over and I still love her. This is kind of like, well, is it about this or is it about that or evil or
Now you're rambling yourself.
Next track.